Chris. You sent me interesting email with some good questions. So, but first, new protocol for new people over the internet for contacting is picture, real name, and then we can proceed to the video calls and a normal contact. I'm no longer supporting this contacts where other person is completely invisible for me and other people like me with a fake avatar and a name, and then same person is absolutely visible for the NSA and other agencies. Please watch movie Snowden. So that much about the privacy and why I insist on certain things. So question number one: the Terra papers states who sorry, laptop is far. The Terra paper states who our creator is, but who is the creator of everything else? There is no mention of that right now. Um, I can only repeat what happened to me when I was meditating by that water reservoir in the monastery Vatpa Kachana Pisek in Isan when I was freshly ordained monk that month. But I was Pakao a couple of years before that, 2 years, maybe a year in that monastery alone. So I was really, I knew that the Buddhism is fake. I read the Nikayas, Diga Nikaya, Majjhima, Samyutta. These are about, 2,000 pages of real material, hardcore, uncensored, and then you learn that Buddhism is something else, not that what ends up in the English, mostly ethnically English written books from, what Panana Cha tradition, where it's like all unpleasant parts are taken off. So I knew it's fake for many reasons, but I didn't accept the idea of God because this was obviously a reptilian idea, and so I didn't know what's the truth. I knew what was not, and I was in meditation. I was like really asking, like a person who's drowning, what is the truth? And then I spiritually simply contacted that spiritual truth, which explained me that through many contacts after that, which is what many people are talking about similar things when they simply lift up their vibration and they directly contact. However, they define it, I was defining it as a spiritual truth, which is in the essence vibration of love, but that love simply loves the truth the most. And out of that love, that infinite pool of energy, which is us as a souls, simply ask itself, what is my true nature? What are the all possibilities? And simply allowed itself to create something what is opposite in the essence to it. So opposite of truth is love. Opposite of love would be hate, fear, greed, and then that challenger was created in that sense, and it was given a huge authority to challenge parts of the unity, which are us, which then enter the touching zone with some, which is samsara in the essence, the touching zone where we are dwelling now. So that opposite of the essence is not source of the energy. It constantly needs that energy to feed on. That's why reptiles are torturing children. Raping them is the way of extracting prana, energy out of the children. That's why you have such a big pedophilic rings everywhere, and they always get protected, and nobody gets sentenced. Lonely nutter here and there, but nothing big, right? So this is simply how it works. That energy simply needs us to feed, to maintain, and we, on the other hand, get this incredible experience of division from our through nature. We are put in these bodies, and every single farm, that previous Sirius farm of that dogs from a Sirius star system which started this farm on planet Earth, uh, was in the essence the same thing, but it was left over. Reptiles simply took over the whole system. You can milk lots of energy out of the beings which are suffering. Uh, yeah, I don't know. You guys understand these basics, right? So, can you tell me something that you find in the Terra papers that you are looking into further right now? Well, that thing that reptiles are catching our souls when we die with the white light, with projecting holograms of dead relatives and saints like Jesus and so on. That notion really struck me because then I really got the idea what is the afterlife, and everything sank. Okay, finally everything made sense, although it was totally depressive, right? When you learn that you live in a multi-dimensional prison, which, you know, from the reptilian point of view, can last forever, because we last forever, so we never die. So what happens is they catch us and then they put us in a box and we recharge and they put soul back to the body, and cycles repeats. Can you? Yeah, that is the thing which is always in my mind. Can you please make a video once you hit your next wall with the Terra papers? I don't think so. I'm really working as I feel inspired at that moment. If you could do one in 4 parts, no way, like your organic portal videos, that would be awesome, and try to organize in some sort of fashion. If you need someone to bounce ideas off of before making the video, feel free to email me. Blah. Don't worry about that. The Robert Morning Sky made the updates. They made the whole thing is on the internet. You can watch his lecture. He's far better narrator than me. 4. I was once under constant attack by entities, and the problem was I didn't know how to defend myself. Everything I thought. Oops. Everything I thought about religion was wrong and therefore had no effect. I was pulled from my body every time, and I would close my eyes to sleep, being reprogrammed, harassed by dark entities, yeah, familiar, which would not leave my periphery of vision. I would try to invoke fear, and would try to invoke fear in me. Sorry, I have to read it like everything. I was even physically harmed by one, not bad though, just a scratch, but still. Yeah, I was like really also badly physically hurt it first time. This all came after I dedicated myself to find the truth about God and relinquish all material possessions. Don't do that. If you relinquish all material possessions, you lose quite a bit of power as well, right? Don't fall for that. You really need that stuff. Not in a fake Buddhist world where they have millions of dollars and huge monasteries to support them, right? But in a real world where we live. I have material possessions now, but they mean nothing. I work only to support loved ones. Anyway, the attack stopped, I guess, because they altered the course of life enough to leave me alone, and or because I became stronger. My point in all this is that I noticed you have a very adversarial approach to the entities and soulless ones. Do you ever think that maybe your resistance attitude reinforces the fight and turns your reality into bigger and bigger fight each day? Well, that question I heard in many different forms, but I will finish the thought. I mean, I know you see more than I do, so maybe they are pissed that you are aware of them, and that makes you forever a constant target, and that will never go away. I would understand that. No, it will never go away. You, me, anybody else, we're never gonna stop being targeted individuals. We simply go through different phases of a treatment. With constant, let's say, for example, with constant microwaves and direct energy, they would kill me in a couple of months. Anybody. So let's go back to the question of what is our original sin, huh? That we want the truth, right? So it goes like this. Everybody is targeted and mind controlled, even people who are totally unaware of anything, those who are called football fans and beer drinkers, and which think of nothing else. Even they are under attack, they simply don't know. What happens is when you decide to break off the psychopathic spell, if you want it, of course that system gonna target you. And but in the same time, what you're gonna gain, and it's far bigger than that state of zombie-like mind you've been there before. So it's worth fighting it, and there is no other option. We simply gonna always try to be free, and reptiles and evil system always, because they are simply extensions of that evil energy, and they are soulless, and they are very different than us. So they're always gonna try to protect their property, how they find us, and fight against us. That doesn't make me a bad guy at all. I'm simply doing what is my nature. I'm trying to be free and to be soul and united. And the reptile is always doing what is his nature. He's trying to catch me, control me, and live as a parasite on me, right? If I understood, if I answered your question. No, it's not completely answered. Do you ever think that maybe your resistance attitude reinforces the fight? Well, in the same time, yeah, I need to tell you this. Precisely because of this, learning process and energy rising process, they are like astral insignificant. I had like a last attack was like yesterday, when I was. I think that was like. It was in the middle of the night, difficult to say, but I had like feeling 3, maybe 3 a.m. Normally around that time, and I have problems at the time. But I had the feeling that I've been like dragged by the floor, and I felt the presence and the evil, like the really evil vibe, and I try to fight it off. Sometimes it works, but when it doesn't work, then I wake up. And when I'm trying to wake up, that entity is, of course, trying to keep me in a sleep state, and sometimes stays for a while attached on me shortly after I wake up. But normally it's like if I stay awake like 5 minutes or 10 tops, it's gonna be gone. And it was not coming the same night. But when I was attacked for the first time, and I can like tell you maybe the details. It was in the year 2000. I first came across the term New World Order, and I didn't really know what it is. And I found 2 books in my university library, Novi Svjetski Poredak. They've been both written by Catholic authors. One was Jesuit, and that Jesuit, his thoughts in my mind been echoing when I was sleeping, and it was Satan, Sotona, 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 Satan, Satan, Satan. And then entity came and hit me very strongly in the left kidney. I tried to wake up, but I was paralyzed in my body. I couldn't move my body, and then I called for the Jesus, because that time I was a big Jesus fan, and it helped out. But when I woke up, I had this huge pain in my left kidney, and shortly after that I got, or a year after that, it was 2001 I think, a year after that I got a very, very strange kidney infection. No blood results been showing infection, but my doctor could see that I'm in a horrible state. I could barely walk from my bed to toilet in some phases. It was just horrible. Energy drain, incredible. So, these things are real, absolutely. And over the time I learned not to be afraid of them, and I learned how to fight them and so on. And it was simply for me a very spontaneous process. I learned with fighting with them. So as a person, I'm really not afraid of that thing, and now I find myself simply superior to the astral beings and to the Illuminati psychic attacks. Of course, and I'm always gonna say it, what they lack in their psychic attacks now, before they've been effective, now they're nothing. They totally match in their microwaves and direct energy. This is when they can really hit, okay? That hurts, but this part is easy, really. How I came to that, oh man, I think that would be a lecture of its own, really. But education, education, and education. It came in many steps. I think one crucial step was understanding what was going on, and Tony Montauk, helped me big time in his work. I downloaded his whole book, which, by the way, I tossed away a year ago in Phnom Penh. I was carrying it all the way from Croatia. And intuition was telling me to keep it, and I said, oh yeah, I have it on a hard disk, and I can't really carry it to Taveng, and I tossed it away, and then my hard disk was erased, not by me totally, with all the data and good pictures and stuff, total loss. But this was excellent material to understand how they operate, how aliens operate, and demons and so on. And later on, when I mastered the Dr. Corrado Malanga, which I absolutely, totally recommend, and I answered it in your email, Simbad technique, triad color technique, which is extremely important for everybody, especially for people like you and me who are probably astral abductees as well, and so on. Maybe even MyLabs, maybe even some alien experience you didn't write about. That goes hand in hand with all this scene, you know. And Yeah, that technique when you unite spirit, soul, and mind, and they're very important, and so on. It's basically in my meditation 1 to 5. I go into details about all these things, and I suggest you to go through that. It might be a little bit boring, and it might be even a little bit difficult to understand, but if you really put your mind to it and go through all of it and ask me questions, you will get ideas, I'm sure. If you don't know how to meditate, I suggest you to study from Silva method mind control, which is excellent Illuminati technique, but excellent, and a minus part when you are inviting advisors in your lab, in your mind. Don't do that part, because you're gonna be inviting tentacles or artificial intelligence, reptiles, if you want to. I hope I answered at least part of the question. Can you share with me a technique or advice that will better allow me to see entities and soulless ones, so I can feel when they are trying to manipulate me? Technique. I wish I could really tell you like technique 1, 2, 3. As I told you, if you finish Silva method mind control, you're gonna learn their technique to watch on a distance, and you're gonna be having a very good tests after, and you're gonna gain confidence. So this is the technique. It's Silva method mind control. It costs money, it costs time, and it costed me as well, right? So other technique would definitely be Corrado Malanga's technique after you master Silva method mind control, if you don't already know it. And after that, I can only strongly suggest to forget about alcohol, crystal meth, and all drugs apart from marijuana oil, because this one is really increasing your programming, because it deprograms your mind, and that's why Illuminati cannot smoke it or take it without alcohol, only with their trainer. Other thing is. Yeah, forget about these things, and it will simply develop naturally. I have a feeling that you really wanted to ask me more about organic portals and reflections on that, but by the way, Corrado Malanga, he explained organic portals far better than I explained. He put them in different categories, because to simply call that majority completely soulless would be wrong. But this whatever is in them is not complete soul at all. It's like one mind entity or something, and it also varies from person to person. In short, I know that they are complete souls like me. I know that there is that majority which can be either influenced by our side or their side, and then you have completely soulless entities like psychopaths, reptiles, and so on. And then, well, you have also, of course, unfortunately, our kind, programmed by them, called Illuminati in that sense. Okay, Chris, good luck to you. Please don't forget to send me your real picture, so I can see how you look like, and I hope we're gonna talk over the phone. Cheers. Oh, by the way, from which part of States are you?